The greatest weariness comes not from hard work, but from aimless effort. So saith Confucius. Yeah, Confucius is spot on today. Listen, if you're lacking motivation, it's not because you're lazy. In today's show, this is the Grant Sparks Show. We're going to be talking about why you're weary in your goal setting. We're going to be talking about how to get back to your goals, because it's not that you don't have great goals. It's not that you are lazy. It's literally that your goals are floating without gravity. You don't need another hype session, though. You know I love giving you all hype sessions. I could do hype sessions all day, but you don't need another one of those. In fact, you're scrolling all day, getting plenty of hype sessions. You need to anchor your dreams, to reconnect with your motivation, to reconnect with your passion. You need to re-anchor your dreams to real daily progress and reignite your internal fire. We're going to talk about that and more in today's episode of The Spark Show, as season episode 341, something like that. Let's talk about it. You see, lack of goal achievement, lack of motivation is not a personal flaw. Though as we get older, it seems to be so pervasive and so consistent. We begin to wonder if this is going to be our life forever. Is this always going to be the way it's going to be? And we start to wonder, is this a character flaw? It's not. It's literally just a systems problem. So before we get into that, let's start with, and let's open up our minds, let's open up our hearts by sharing a little bit of cup of gratitude. You know, I start every episode with cup of gratitude. I want to hear from you what you're grateful for today in the comments. I see you on Instagram. I see you on Twitch. I see you on Facebook. Drop in the comments what you are grateful for today, and we will share a little bit. Let me hype you a little bit. But if you can't start with a cup of gratitude, if you can't start with a heart of gratitude, I present for your consideration, you're not going to be able to make the changes you're going to need to make in order to achieve more of your goals. Let's start with cup of gratitude. I'm most grateful for you and anyone who has felt the slump in their goals. I'm massively grateful for you. If you have felt the slump in your souls, yet you got up anyway, you showed up today, you showed up to the show today, you showed up for your goals today, and some of you think, well, I have to show up, I have to go to work. I hear that, but you absolutely still have goals inside of you. And so I'm proud of you. I'm grateful for you today because you're an inspiration to everyone who will eventually experience the slump themselves. So I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for a series of new books. I got a bunch of new books right now, focusing and dialing in on brand messaging and its overlap with AI. We're getting deep into the weeds with ChatGPT and AI and how to put that together with brands, with music, with art, with your business. That's what I'm grateful for today. What are you grateful for today? Drop it in the comments so I can hype you. I see you up on Twitch. Drop what you're grateful for in the comments, and it's an exercise in saying yes to that heart of gratitude inside of you. And when you say yes to that thing, when you affirm that thing, it begins to open you up to what the universe is trying to bring to you, what society, what people around you, the help you need for your goals, the motivation you need. Because maybe you're here today because you've got low motivation. It starts with gratitude. So write your comments in, write your pieces of gratitude in the comments. If you're on Instagram, if you're on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're at, LinkedIn, drop in the comments what you're grateful for today. And I want to give you a shout out. Absolutely. Let's talk about how to get your motivation and kind of what's going wrong with motivation today. You see, a lot of you started this year full of hope. I talked to a young guy this weekend at a restaurant place I do brunch at. And I talk to this guy nearly every Sunday because he ends up my server every Sunday when I get brunch at this place. And he's been going one direction for months, about 4 or 5 months since the beginning of the year. He absolutely was going to get a sales job at this one place. And it's been month 5. I checked in on him yesterday. He's like, I dropped it. I just don't want to move forward. That hit me. And I started thinking about motivation. A lot of young people are lacking motivation. And then I started wondering about myself and a lot of my own goals. Not all of them. You guys know I'm goal driven right now. I'm heavily pushing for my health and fitness goal. Very happy with my progress there. But there's so many other corners of my life, my total life experience, my dealing with fitness and health, fine, but my healthy, happy relationships, the work I enjoy, my spirituality, there's other areas where I've got goals and I've noticed my motivation just isn't as high and I've had to generate this motivation. Is that you? Have you lacked motivation? If you have, drop it in the comments. I want to hype you. I want to look at what's going on and encourage you in those areas because it's not a character flaw. It's a systems thing. I remember I set a huge goal at 18. Huge goal. It was to travel around the world. And if you've been following my story for any length of time, you know that I traveled around the world at the tender age of 21. I was blessed enough to travel the entire world. Actually, no, it was 24. I'm sorry. I was 24 before that happened. And I traveled the entire world. I left out of Canada. We shipwrecked in the North Pacific. You've heard this story. We ended up in Beijing or Shanghai, China, went down to Vietnam, went to India, went to Kenya, went to South Africa, and the list goes on. We went to Brazil. We circumnavigated the entire world. And this was fantastic. This was a dream trip. If you've ever taken a trip like this, you know how blessed you are. But believe that, hear me on this. It was like a 5-month trip around the world. I had adventures. I met beautiful people. I met hilarious people. I deconstructed my faith. I came out of my shell. It was wild. You've heard these stories. You can always go back into my YouTube and hear some of these stories. But get this. We landed in the last stop in Venezuela. Venezuela, another adventure. We had excursions scheduled to do international, meeting international business owners. I had several excursions to meet international religion majors. I had a whole docket lined up. And I kid you not, we were in Venezuela for 7 days, 7 days, and I didn't leave the boat. I lacked motivation. I had traveled the entire world. I had achieved my goals even, and my motivation was gone, and I was shocked at myself. I was still journaling. I was still reading, but I was exhausted, and I didn't know why. I had no way to get back to my motivation. Listen, high achievers of the highest caliber frequently will lose track of their motivation because they give it their all and their brain just gets fried and they slump. Have you ever experienced a slump? Are you experiencing a slump right now? I want to hear it. You have to confess it. I see you on YouTube. I see you on Facebook. I see you on Instagram. I see you on Twitch. Post in the comments and fess up. Have you ever felt the slump of your goals and had to really fight for motivation? You thought, maybe am I depressed? You might have been. You thought, maybe I'm tired. I need to sleep a full night's sleep. Maybe you have been. You thought, maybe I've just lost track of who I am. Maybe I'm hitting a midlife crisis. Have you ever thought that? Confess it, man. I want to hear this. And this is a problem for everyone. And I'm telling you, I have talked in interview to Olympians. If you followed me for any length of time in the middle of COVID, I was interviewing Olympians. I'm thinking of one right now, Ásdís Helmsdóttir, who won the Olympic silver medal for Iceland in javelin. All of these people will tell you, you cannot sustain high motivation. It is not just something you sustain. It's something that comes and goes. And you might have big dreams in your heart and hit a slump. And listen, let me tell you something that will make this a little bit, that'll add a little seasoning to this. If you think motivation is the thing that will help you achieve and pursue big goals, you're wrong. And here's why. And this is tough to hear. This is tough to hear. Motivation is the result of progress, not the fuel. Hear that again. Motivation is the result of progress, not the fuel. By this, I mean this. When you're at the gym, if you wake up super late at the gym and you are exhausted, it takes a lot to get going. But once you get your first set in, then the next set is easier. But if you are having a difficult day to get to the gym and you get your first set of lifting in, but then you chat to too many people, you mess around on your phone too much, you go longer than that minute rest period, you walk around and get water, and you start to procrastinate, the second set becomes harder than the first. But if you do your first set and you carry a little of that motivation into the second set. You just wait a minute, you go right into the second set. You might not even be pushing your best numbers ever. You might not be lifting as much as you've ever lifted before, but I guarantee your motivation starts to pick up, your momentum starts to pick up, and you start doing better. Motivation is not the cause, it's the effect. Motivation is the result of progress, even small progress. It is not the fuel. So if you are waiting for motivation to get you out of bed, you're going to be waiting a long time. But if you are going to put your feet on the floor and get small wins, those small wins generate the momentum you need. The small wins generate the motivation you need for the next one. Here, let me tell you something right now. This is a fact about this. I think about everything in terms of waves and surfing. Everything is in terms of waves and surfing. If you are not motivated right now for the goals in your life, you have goals and they're even clear goals. But if you lack motivation, the only indication that is, it's not an indication that those goals aren't good. It's not an indication that you are a flawed human being. It might be an indication that you need to take a nap and you need to eat something good. That might be the case. But the real indication of lack of motivation is this. This is when your dashboard of success on your mind's eye blinks red that you lack motivation. This is what that is. It's been too long since you've had a small piece of progress on your goal. It's been too long since your small piece of progress on your goal. So the remedy becomes quite simple. Get a small chunk, a small atom-sized piece of progress going on your goal. If you're stuck without small wins, your brain literally cuts off its own energy. This is from modern psychology. We could drop links later. Me and ChatGPT were having a conversation about this, reading through the Harvard Business Review articles. But if you wake up and have a goal that you know it's a good goal, you know it's an important goal, you know it's critical for your kids, you know it's critical for your happiness, you know it's critical for a sense of being a real human, not just an automaton in this life, in this rat trap that they have you in. If you lack motivation, the only indication that is that you have not worked consistently enough on that thing in even a small way. It has been too long since your last small piece of progress. Brian Tracy, and I will quote this till the day I die. Brian Tracy says this: success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Hear that again. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Translated, that means that to feel successful, to feel motivation, to feel like you have it in the tank to tackle the next thing in front of you, you must progressively realize your goal, meaning you must bite off very small chunks regularly, once a day, twice a day. Success is the progressive realization or the progressive accomplishment of a worthy ideal. I assume that you have worthy goals in front of you because you set them. I assume that you set these goals, that you want to experience more joy, that you want to experience more happiness, that you want to travel more, all good things, that you want to take care of your family more, all good things. But if you're lacking motivation and putting in the effort and putting in the extra effort, if you are lacking motivation, it's just an indication that it's been too long since you've worked on it and chipped away at it. Let me tell you something. I'm on a cut goal right now. I started at 231 pounds, and I'm trying to get down to 212 pounds, and I'm looking pretty good. I'm not cut, but I'm a pretty thick guy right now. I'm pretty strong. My numbers are all high. I'm at 30, I'm 46. I'll be 46 this year. I'm hitting higher lift numbers in every category of lifts, from squats to bench press to small lifts to deltoid. Every single one of them are highest than they've ever been, even in my 20s. I'm having higher numbers than even in my 20s when I was ripped and I was a CrossFit coach. I can show you the numbers. I'm benching more. I'm squatting more, the whole thing. But I'm not as cut. I'm trying to get cut. And I've been on this cut now for freaking 9 weeks, something like that. And I got serious 2.5 weeks ago, and I made real progress, but I plateaued. And I woke up this week and I had no motivation. And I decided that I'm not having frequent enough small wins. I don't need big wins. I need daily and maybe more than daily small wins. And so my daily wins were leveling off. So instead of going to the gym once a day, I was going once a day. And then I was doing this whole routine that's literal. I'm not even kidding. My morning routine for this cut is oftentimes more than 4 hours. I'm not exaggerating. It's ridiculous. And I don't recommend it for everybody. No way. But my routine is like an hour and a half to 2 hour workout. It's another 2.5 to 3 mile run, like a run. And then it's another 4 sessions in the sauna, 15 minutes each. So it's about an hour in the sauna. I'm telling you, I'm burning time at the gym, but I have a goal. And so this weekend, I realized this goal, I'm lacking motivation. Yes, I'm low on calories. I got to modify my calories, but I needed more frequent but smaller wins. Instead of such a huge chunk, I'm going after morning and afternoon. In the afternoon, I'm just going to walk for another 30 minutes and get into the sauna for another 1 or 2 sessions, 15 minutes each. These are not a lot. It's not intense. But I realized I needed continued motivation. And that motivation comes from micro progress. And I need that progress. So here's the thing. If you feel if your motivation feels in stuck gear, you're stuck. And if you are hoping for motivation to drive your progress, you're focused on the wrong thing. No momentum, no dopamine, no motivation. If you have no momentum, you are not getting enough dopamine hits from the right place. You might be getting dopamine hits from the wrong place. The wrong place is out there. You might skim 50 different little fitness influencers and see their abs, and that dopamine hit hits you, and you feel like I've done enough. False. You look in the mirror, you're lacking motivation, my friend. So you need a little bit of momentum. You need a little bit more momentum than you're getting so that you get a little bit more dopamine from the right place. It's early, but your hair game is strong. Billy Weigel, my guy Billy Weigel dropping in on Instagram telling me my hair game is good this early. I appreciate you, bro. So if you want more motivation, you don't chase it. Here's the answer for today, and we're going to build this little framework real quick. If you want more motivation, you do not chase it. You build it by engineering small pieces of momentum to get guaranteed wins, guaranteed small wins. And you begin to build the identity and the motivation necessary for the next small win. That's what we're building today. Here's my 5-step battle plan for reigniting your motivation. 2 quick principles. You don't need more energy. You don't need to work harder. You need more alignment between your dream and your small daily activities. You know, we see this in nutrition a lot. When it comes to fitness, nutrition, and losing weight, a lot of people will focus on the workouts and the cardio. And then when it comes to nutrition, they think, I'll just eat light and pick throughout the day. And they have small wins in their mind. I'm eating less. I'm picking throughout the day. But they're not tracking their calories. Most people don't. Most people don't. And it's kind of abnormal if you think about it to track your calories. It's just inefficient. But you got a goal and you have small daily activities you're doing. And when you actually start counting calories, it's revelational. You realize you're eating way more carbs than you should be and way under on calories. You should actually be maintaining a certain amount of calories. If you eat too low, your body starts starving itself. And then if you feed it a carb, it stores it as fat. So you might be eating less, but getting fatter. It can happen. You might not be eating enough food and your hormone balance gets thrown off and you don't have enough protein. And now you have too many unhealthy carbs and you thought, I'll just do small things throughout the day. These are not small wins. They're small activities. And as it comes to your goals, you need alignment between what your goals are and your strategy for small wins throughout the day. And so you can do this with nutrition, obviously, but we also do this with our daily tasks. How many times do I check my email? Well, if I had a goal to be a speaker or a content creator, shouldn't I have used that 15 minutes to create content instead of consume it? It only takes about 15, 20 minutes. No, granted, it takes long to create reels, only if you don't have the muscle memory and you don't do it frequently, but you need a small win. So to get that small win, turn the camera on, record yourself or whatever the goal is. If you're a writer, always have your word processor app open and write 3 sentences every single day. Write haikus. Start with small wins. Marissa is Wildleaf here. She might even still be watching. She's got a garden to plant. Well, she's got all these beds to do and she's got all this stuff to do. Go out there and just put soil down. Go out there with the hose and water something, a small win every single day. Every single day, and you will begin to get it back. So those are the two principles. Now, here's the process. Number one, first off, you dream big and act small. Now, let me say that a different way because I don't want you to act like a small person. I don't want you to act with small passion. What I mean is you dream big, dream about the empire, dream about the complete thing. Because this does begin to build some motivation. If you're lacking motivation, when you dream big, and I don't mean go look on socials, I mean dream, spend time inside of your brain. Because when you look at it outside of yourself, it signals to your brain that you've already achieved it. But when you look inside of yourself, your brain begins to look outside in the world around you to find it. And when you dream, say for example, you dream about having abs inside of you, visualize it. You're programming your brain and therefore your senses to look for that. So you look in the mirror and you don't see it, and your brain says, uh-oh, there's a problem. And motivation kicks in and says, I got to start working on this. But if you look at other people's abs and you don't visualize, your brain says, oh, found the abs I was looking for. And you go, well, those aren't my abs. Your brain doesn't know the difference. Literally look at this in science. Your brain does not know the difference between manufactured and real reality. It doesn't know the difference. So when you tell it, I'm a person who does the things that have abs, I'm the person that's supposed to have abs, and when I look in the mirror, don't say abs, your brain suddenly says, okay, we got to solve this. It's a problem. It creates an open loop inside your brain. So I recommend you dream without limits. Dream big. See yourself in your mind's eye, with your passion, with your portfolio of properties, with your fitness and health. See it so clearly in your mind's eye that when you open your eyes and you don't see that thing, you have a mantra, and that mantra is, oh, I'm a millionaire. They just haven't paid me yet. Oh, I'm a person with abs. I just haven't gotten the right nutrition in yet. Oh, I'm a person that has healthy relationships. I just haven't met my tribe yet. You see the difference of what I'm talking about? You need to dream without limits. I travel the world. I just haven't bought my tickets yet. I have fitness and health that I can handle any situation. I just haven't encountered those situations yet. Whatever that thing is. And then you say, okay, well, what do I got to do? Let me prepare. Let me start doing that work. Revisit your top 100 dream list. When was the last time? And it should be daily. It should have been last night. You opened up your top 100 dream list and reviewed it. I'm telling you, if you're going to skim social media, I present for your consideration, you need to skim your top 100 list. In fact, Nicole, if you're watching out there, we're going to create an app that takes your top 100 dream list and creates a social media feed of that thing. And it's your dream app. And it will look for things in your social media and start liking and populating your feed with your top 100 dream app. We're going to do that. That's my idea. You heard it here first. That's step one. Step two, prioritize with brutal clarity. Prioritize with brutal clarity. When you write down your goals, you need to write them down, but you need to rank them. You need to write down, I must have, for example, with this Chinese thing, the Chinese tariffs thing, a lot of the Chinese companies on TikTok are posting all the luxury goods that they build for luxury brands. Some people call them knockoffs. These are the very companies that are building them. They just legally can't call them the same thing, but they're the manufacturing plant, right? They do the same thing. So you call them knockoffs, but they're the actual real thing. So I'm looking at some really nice watches that I've always looked at. I mean, we're talking about $10,000, $20,000 watches if you just go to the brand. And they have certificates and everything from the authenticator and everything. They're legit, right? But this is not a must for me. I don't need this shit. And it's not that expensive, but it's distracting. So I might put it on my goal list. I'm going to buy that Rolex. Oh, I'm going to buy that Pantera watch. I'm literally going to put this down. A, B, C, D, and E. A, you must have it. B, you want it. This is just a want for me. It's not a must have. C, it's interesting, but it's possibly a distraction. You got to get it out of your system. But then you label it. C, it's a distraction. D, I need to delegate this to someone else to handle. E, I need to eliminate this from my list because I used to have this idea that I wanted one of these cars that had gull wings when it came up. As a young 20-something, I was enamored with one of these vehicles. And I literally eliminated it in the last 5 years. I don't even care. My wants are my needs are so low. My musts. I want so much money in the bank, and I want to travel when I want to travel, and I want to create content, create art in the form of training, art in the form of books, art in the form of public speaking, art in the form of IRL events. That's what I want. Everything else is a want, a distraction, a delegate, or eliminate. That's number 2, prioritize with brutal clarity, because you are clarifying to your subconscious mind and your sense of identity what's important to you. And then when an actual person asks, hey, do you want to do X, Y, and Z? I want to, but I'm not going to. Or that's a little bit of distracting for a goal I have right now. Or let me delegate that to my team. Or no, I'm sorry, I can't, but please invite me next time. Number 3, chunk down the musts and wants relentlessly. Take your goals, and even though we're dreaming big, when you sit and visualize and daydream, which you should do at least 15 minutes a day, maybe 30. Think and Grow Rich recommends 30 minutes a day that you daydream. Totally daydream. Turn off the notifications, turn off the screens. Scrolling is not daydreaming. It's not. It activates a different hemisphere of the brain. We can track the brain, and when you daydream, it overlaps with your identity centers of your brain. When you scroll, it doesn't. It creates dissociation. There's different parts of the brain. When you scroll, there's a dissociation observation like watching TV. When you daydream and fantasize, it reinforces your identity. You need to hear that. That's very important. So when you have these and you've done your daydreaming and then you've prioritized what's important to you, zero in on those A items and those B items, and then chunk them down relentlessly. One big goal, it has monthly milestones, it has weekly targets, and it has today's win. If you start work and I ask you what your top 5 is, and that top 5, your top 5 things, you will not stop working until you do the top 5 things today. Every person should be doing that alone. Like, that's from Mary Kay, the person who started the Mary Kay company. She's phenomenal. Her top 5 things. And she said she was totally successful because every day she wrote down those top 5 things. And she did not stop working until she had kept her word to herself that those were the top 5 things she did. Now, here's the other layer to make this important. Those top 5 things need to track to your weekly targets, your monthly milestones, and your big goals. If they don't track to that, you're pissing in the wind. You're doing the wrong things. Those are the wrong items to be in your top 5. Well, Grant, I got responsibilities. Those responsibilities should be integrated with your weekly targets, your monthly milestones, and don't spin it. I mean a direct line of sight to your goals. When I ask you, what's your 5 things this week, and you tell me they're X, Y, and Z, and then I say, okay, how do those tie to your goals? If you have to conjure it up, I think maybe you did not plan your day well. It needs to start the other way. You start with your goals and you say, what are my monthly goals? And you should look at your calendar. They should already be on your calendar. If they're not, take time to write them on your calendar. My monthly milestones for these goals. And then you go, okay, well, what are the weekly targets for these goals? Okay. And then you go, what's my wins today for these goals? If you do not know that, and this should be a quarterly activity you do. If you're off track, and here's the thing, if you're off track, that's okay. We get off track. That's called entropy. That's called real life. I get it. But every time you get off track, you need to have a system. We're talking about motivation here. You need to have a system to remind yourself how each of your activities every single day plays toward your dream life. If you do not know that, full stop, stop even today's lesson with me and go get your shit done. Go sit down and write your big goals and say, what do I need to accomplish every month to accomplish this over 6 months? Well, Grant, it's too big of a goal. Okay. You're dreaming small. You're supposed to be dreaming big. Well, Grant, I don't like it when I miss my monthly target. I feel demotivated. Then stretch your timeline out to 18 months. Well, that's not motivating enough. Then make it 12 months, 9 months. Pick a time that you could realistically accept it takes. I recommend you dream big because it takes an enormous Goliath amount of effort to achieve what you want to achieve. So number 1, dream without limits. Number 2, prioritize with brutal clarity. Number 3, chunk down relentlessly. Okay. And number 4, schedule your wins. Block 15 minutes for fantasizing every single day. Block 15 minutes to make sure that your top 5 are aligned with your goals. And then block a chunk of work time where you will work on the most important items. You have to chunk out this time. Well, Grant, I work a full-time job. Find the time. Listen, find the time. Do it on a Saturday. You can build your dream life on a weekend. I guarantee you. You can build your time. Grant, I've got young kids. I hear you. I have seen people with young kids and full-time jobs build their dream life. You might have an hour in the evening to study or prepare. You might have several hours, 4 hours on a Saturday, 4 hours on a Sunday to work on your dream goals, schedule your wins. And I'm recommending only 15 minutes. Nicole says if you can scroll social media for 15 minutes, you can focus on your goals for 15 minutes. Holla! Nicole's hollering. And let me tell you something. Y'all got to fess up and be honest. We could look at your phone use time, and I know that you spend closer to an hour a day on social media on average. We can look at the stats. Open up your phone. Tell me. It's probably closer to an hour. Tell the truth, shame the devil. So the time is there. It's the motivation and the focus. Transitioning's tough. I know when you have a full day of work and you are juggling the kids and you sit down, and it is a difficult thing to shift gears and go, I'm going to work on my goals. That's why you need to chunk them down to small wins. So take a Saturday, break them down into monthly, weekly, and daily targets, and just let yourself do a daily win. And then when you look back at yesterday and go, I did that one tiny little thing yesterday, and I'm going to do this today. I'll tell you one thing. I've been working on my funnel for me as a coach for weeks because I put myself last. I put clients first. I put my team first. Anytime my team has a wild hair of an idea, I put that first because I want to signal to them that I support who they are. I will put action and calories and effort behind the people around me. I want that as my message to the freaking world. So I find that I put myself last. And so I have an hour here on the weekends. And so I will look at my life yesterday and say, I opened up MailChimp and I created that one piece of the funnel yesterday. I'm going to move it forward today. And then schedule wins. Block that time. Lastly, number 5, you have to review and celebrate what wins you did have. Well, Grant, I missed a few of my targets. I missed 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5 of my goals this week. That's awesome. Why? Because you achieved 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5 of your goals. And last week, you didn't do jack. Last month, you didn't move the needle at all. But it compounds. Your effort compounds. So number 1, dream big. Number 2, prioritize with brutal clarity. Number 3, chunk down these goals relentlessly. Number 4, schedule your small wins. And remember, we're talking about lack of motivation today. How could you possibly be thinking about this when it comes to when I lack motivation? Because if you implement this as a system and put these little pebbles that line up a series of small wins, you will find that you're more and more motivated to just do that small win. Just that small win. Just adding that small element. I know that I want to move to the beach somewhere, and the thing I am struggling with is where to move. So every day I try to add a pebble and a movement towards living closer to a beach. I just can't literally put my finger on it. And I can't put a lot of effort to it. I can't put a lot of energy to it, but I need in my bone marrow to be in the ocean daily. In my bone marrow, I need to surf, and I will find a way, brick upon brick, pebble upon pebble, building enough motivation to make big moves, but it starts with small moves. So hear me on this. Hear me on this. You got to hear this. Motivation is the byproduct. Wins are your system. Hear that again. Motivation doesn't lead you to take action. It's the result of your latest small action. It isn't something you wait for or find. It's something you generate. And it starts today with one small, itty, gritty little win stacked upon another. Here's to your goals and dreams today. Here's to igniting lives of explosive significance. Have a great day.